Hi, this is Abigail VanTerry. Hi, Abigail.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi. This is the narrator for my book, Emmeline, A Journey. She spent a very long time working on this book. And I thought for today that she would be able to tell you a little bit about what it's like to be a narrator. And maybe she could start off with showing you how she does different voices. Abigail, can you tell us, share some voices.
Yeah, sure. So Emmeline's voice is just basically my voice. So what you're hearing right now is what she's gonna sound like. One of her little lines is "Hello, Dakota," which I just love because that's how I talk to my pets, and I'll talk about those here in a bit. But one of Pa's lines is let me think of it. "Come on down, Mr. Oak. You're in the field and we need your wood," or something along that sort. I don't have the script pulled up, but from what I can remember from the certain lines that took me longer than others to get, one of old Mr. Thompson's, one of my favorite exchanges in the whole book is between old Mr. Thompson and Emmeline. She's getting some survival skills from him, and he's going through it with her, and he says, "You don't want to get shot or killed, do you?" She goes, "No, didn't think so." I just love that. I just love that whole exchange right there. It's just so sassy. Like some of the scenes just like come to me, easier than others. Like you're just there in the scene. And that was one I was like, I don't need to know, like think about how they said it because I can just see just how they said it. And it's always been curious to me if like my inflection matched what you wrote or not. So I'm curious how you saw that scene going.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Excellent, excellent. Her grandfather, Silas, has an Irish accent, which if I don't do really well here, I apologize for. It takes me a while to get into the different ones, but I'll just try and swing into this for you. Well, I don't recollect the year, but my wife and I started it back in Ireland, or before we were married, or something along the nature of that. So that's my Irish accent for you, and I think that covers all the different styles of characters we come across.
Yeah, and then you can even do the horse.
Oh, yeah, the horse. Oh, what does he say? What's his line?
Well, he just kind of like whinnies and things. I mean,
that wasn't it, but.
And then you did sing a song, and you sang a song, and that was really good. I thought you were a singer. I did.
Oh, thank you. That took me so many takes.
And then, so it was really good. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you guys have not read the book, you should. And if you don't want to read it and you just want to listen to it, that's available. Just go to my website, kathyjperry.com. And Abigail, do you have a website?
I do not. No, everybody just go check out Kathy. Check her out.
Okay. Okay, well, let's talk about your workspace and what it's like to be a narrator. I'm going to pull up your pictures, a couple pictures that you sent me, and then you can talk about them.
Sure.
Okay.
It's hard not to chuckle, in seeing these, even though, I'm the one that sent them to you. It still kind of makes me laugh.
I know. It's almost like you're putting yourself in a little cocoon.
It's so small. It's so small. And it gets really hot in there, like so hot. It's just, you can only stand it for so long.
Oh, I bet. I didn't think of that. There wouldn't be any airflow.
There's really not. No,
I turned have a fan on. That would.
I'm sorry.
You couldn't have a fan on. That would be counterproductive.
Whenever I take breaks, I turn it on to get the heat out, not to the bathroom fan. But it doesn't do much good when I'm actually in there.
No. Well, and it makes noise too.
Yeah, exactly. I can't have that in the background. I try to keep it, as calm as possible in there.
I didn't even think about that heat and everything. So how long can you do this at a time?
I typically don't do it for more than 2 hours. Like the toilet gets really uncomfortable to sit on and it gets really hot, like I said. So no more than 2 hours will I actually be in the studio, but I will go to the couch after I've recorded to do some editing, and I can do that for a lot longer.
Well, sure. What's this equipment that I see here?
So on my headphones, obviously. Studio quality that was gifted to me from my father-in-law. And then just below the headphones, you can see my pop filter. And then below that, my microphone. And then the microphone is resting on top of a photo album to kind of help get it to the right height there. And then everything's plugged into my computer. Nicer, more expensive setups will have a separate, I forget what they call it, but it's where it processes sound instead of directly being plugged into the computer. But I have something that's a little bit more affordable. And yeah, that's all my equipment there. And what we've done for the blankets is we had a PVC pipe frame kind of around the area there that we've doubled those over on for soundproofing, as well as the pillow sham covers on top of the desk.
Okay, so no hard surfaces except for the one you're sitting on.
Yeah, right, unfortunately.
I guess you could have put a pillow there or something.
Yeah.
Seat cushion. But great. Well, I'm going to unshare now so we can go back here. Tell us a little bit about what got you started into narrating. Why did you think of this would be fun?
So I used to deliver medicines just a couple days a week, super part-time, not a big deal. But, you know, even though it wasn't a whole lot of time I was spending, it was still enough where I got bored. So, you know, it gets boring, you know, just driving by yourself or even listening to the radio. You get kind of tired of hearing the same old tunes, put you to sleep sometimes. So I decided to listen to some audiobooks. And a few books in, I was like, you know, someone has to narrate these. It could be kind of fun to do it. And, you know, it was like, it took me a while to pull the trigger and get the equipment we just saw. I wanted to make sure it wasn't just like some whim thing that I was just like, oh yeah, this will be fun for a little while. And then a month later be like, no, I just won't. But I don't think I would have had it not been for my husband encouraged me to go ahead and do that. He was super encouraging and supportive.
Who was that?
My husband, Aaron.
Oh, Aaron. Okay.
I'll probably talk about him a lot on the interview. So.
Okay. And you guys just got married, didn't you? Not too long ago?
We did, yeah, a couple years ago. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any other gigs coming up?
No. I'm funnily enough probably not going to continue after Emmeline Building a Life. Holler, just because, as you found out, I am not the most efficient narrator. I like it, it's fun, and I'm so glad you like my work. I just cannot do it efficiently to, you know, make a good income off of it.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, I did write some, but then I hit a wall, and now I'm like rethinking how I'm going to go about it. So that book is like, also it's changed the title. The title's now going to be Emmeline, Big Decisions.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I still don't know how I'm going about it. So I'm thinking about it, and I'm just taking a step back and just living life and for a little while. So I'm not very, so I haven't gotten started on that. So it'll be a while.
It is all good, all good.
Okay.
You have your creative process, I am sure.
Yeah. Okay. And then let's see, what else was I going to ask you? Oh, what was your favorite thing about narrating? What did you like most about it?
I really liked what I could contribute to it. Like, I liked how my version of it that someone would listen to would be the version that they would get. So like if someone else had narrated it, they would have read it differently. You know, you might have liked it more, you might have liked it less, who knows, but it would have been read differently. They would have done the same words, but they would have chosen different voices. They would have had different inflection in some of the scenes. And so I really like how my take on it is what the world's getting. For past jobs I've worked, I used to be an EMT, which is an emergency medical technician,
right?
Which is someone who works on an ambulance. For those of you listening who don't know, a lot of people don't know what an EMT is. Yeah. You have very strict rules that you have to follow on the scene. Like you have procedures, like even figuring out what's wrong with someone, there's just step by step. I mean, it's in the name, you know, technician. So whether I'm doing it or someone else is doing it, you're going to get about the same results. And, you know, same thing with delivering medicine. If I don't deliver it, someone else is going to deliver it. As long as they get there safely, they've done just as good of a job as I have. So I like that in this particular job, I'm not just a brick in the wall.
It's a little more creative.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, tell us about, well, you said your favorite scene was probably that old Mr. Thompson scene.
I do like that scene.
Okay. That was one of the things I was going to ask you, is what is your favorite part about that book? So there's that one. One of my favorite parts is the grandfather scene. I really like that.
Yes.
And what are your hobbies other than narrating? What do you like to do? I saw you had some pictures of animals. So you must
Yes.
like those.
Yes, that is how I was going to answer that question. My biggest hobby is animal keeping. I have a menagerie of animals on my little 5-acre ranchette. I hope to fill it with more someday. My husband wants to put a whole herd of goats on it, but we're not quite there yet, which is fine. I am good at taking a little pause and enjoying what we have, which at the moment is a small flock of silky bantam chickens. We have 11. I don't know if you've heard of silky bantams before, but they're pretty unique.
My sister probably has one. She has some special chickens.
That's cool. That's cool. Their feathers, lack the barbicils that make them stick together. So they just look like little furry chickens. Does that look like any of the ones she has?
Yeah, probably. I think she has some that are like that.
Cool. I think we'd get along, your sister and I.
She's in Arizona. She's south of Phoenix, so she's got a little ranchette too.
Nice. And out there with them, I also have a goose who protects.
Is that in the picture?
Yes, that's the goose picture.
Who took that picture? That was so creative.
My husband.
Oh, he's
really
good.
the best. He is. And then of course, you also saw my pet raccoon Panda. And then I also have a cat and a dog. And he's actually right here with me. I'm just gonna pull him up here if he'll let me. He doesn't really like being picked up, but here's Gizmo. He's my little buddy.
Yeah, he looks like he needs to get brushed all the time.
Actually, Pomeranians do pretty well with just weekly brushings, though I do try to keep it up more frequently just to keep him as handsome as possible.
Yeah, I mean, in our yard, he would pick up all kinds of burrs, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. He is inside only. He does not fare well with larger dogs. They don't know he's not a chew toy.
I see.
So no burrs for him.
Okay.
Oh, buddy. Thank you.
Well, cool. All right. Let's see. Tell us about the special people that have influenced your life. Like, I know your husband probably.
Yes, he was on the list for sure. My mom and dad also, they've been incredibly active parents throughout my whole life. They're just interested in whatever I have going on. So their support, means the world to me, that they care about what I'm doing. And then also my brother, and that rounds out my immediate family. As an older brother, I got to watch him do everything before I got to do it. So if he did a good job, then I wanted to do it like he did. And if he did not do such a good job, then I made sure to not do it the way he did. So, thanks, Joel, for clearing the roads for me a little bit.
Yeah. Good. And then your husband, what does he do?
Yes.
What's he do? What does he like to do?
He is currently a security guard at the DuPoint Fairgrounds. But his big gig, the thing that he's really going after, he currently works maintenance at Lake Salatisca in Peatnaville. It's a Baptist camp, and it is great. It's a good time for anyone who wants to go. I know I'm doing a little bit of advertising here. He hopes to become the maintenance supervisor and get a full-time position, leave his security job, and just work there. And hopefully someday work up to camp director somewhere. He's currently in a mentorship position under the camp director there that he's really happy with.
Good. All right. So it looks like he's got all kinds of skills.
He is a handyman. He is a well-rounded Renaissance man.
I guess. And that was an awesome picture. I had to show it to my daughter because she's a photographer, and it was so good.
Oh, thank you.
And she's very creative.
That's awesome.
So she's always doing things with photography. So if you were to go back to yourself when you were 12, is there any advice you would give yourself?
Yeah. I would tell myself, it may not be the romantic thing to take the first move in a relationship, to ask a guy out. You see in the movies, and no movie has a lady ask the male out. It's all male driven. But I will say you don't know what relationships you're missing out on if you don't make the first move. That's how I met my husband. I asked him out first. But if you don't, you might be thinking, well, I'll just wait for someone to pursue me, which I get that. Okay, fine. But the guy you have a crush on, like, may not know you exist. Like, and if he doesn't know you exist, then you're never gonna get in a relationship. So, like, make that first move and make yourself known. But also, on the flip side of that, he may absolutely know you exist and just be terrified of you because of how out of his league you are. Like, you're too pretty, you're too cool, you're too smart, like, whatever it is. You just may never work up the nerve. So go get it, girl. Yeah.
So be bold.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything that you would like to add at all?
Yeah, for anyone listening, Kathy is amazing. She is like one of my favorite people ever. And my husband told me not to say this because he says I got a little brown on my nose. But Kathy is amazing. She is just a great person, and she is so patient and gracious. And if I could work for anyone forever, it would be Kathy. Read her books to support her, please.
Thanks. Thanks. Well, I have those little children's books that I made. I had one audiobook done with them with the first book. But, I just haven't really seen kids getting them. So I didn't want to do all 5 if kids weren't going to get them.
Right. Definitely understandable.
And I think it's more, audiobooks are more for young adults or adults. I think children don't really listen to audiobooks that much.
That's my understanding anyways.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember when the kids were younger and there used to be cassette tapes at the library, they would get those. But now, I don't know, maybe they still do. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So anyway, unless something happens. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, Kathy.
You're welcome. We'll see ya.